Well, nice to see you again back. Now we are going to start this new poem from the 8th standard, and then the poem number 3, After Apple Picking. It was written by Robert Lee Frost. And before going to this poem, or the explanation of the summary of this poem, let me speak about the poet. It is also given in our book, but let me explain to you clearly so that you understand better. Okay, about the poet. Robert Frost was born in 1874 and he ends his life in 1963. He is a famous American poet and he was born in America, in USA. Deal past tense is the dealt. Deal the theme from the rural life, village life. Rural is called as the village life in the New England, that is in the USA. Okay. Urban and the rural. Urban is the city life, rural is the village life, and it is more connected to us. We are also from the village, and it is very connected to us. And using the setting of examine complex social and the philosophical issues. There is a complex complication. There is a differentiation in the villages, and that is what we find here also. Jatiya samasya. In the school we are one, but when you go to the houses and there is a complex, the social range, we have problem socially also. That is called samajika, and philosophical is tattva. This is called philosophy is tattva shastra, tattva the meluva. And there are some people follow the different rule and regulation in the religion. Even in the social also they follow some rules and regulations. Philosophy comes from the rules and regulation of the religion. Okay, that is what he has seen. But this man, the Robert Lee Frost, also written some important poetic poets, and his works are, with the dates they are given here: A Boy's Will, that was written in 1913; North of Boston, written in the 1914; Mountain Interval, that is 1916; New Hampshire, that is written in the 1923, and some collected poems of the small poems was written in the 1930, and the next one, The Further Range, was written in the 1936, and The Witness Tree, that is written in the 1942. Okay, and he is the popular of the often quoted poem. Often quoted poem. His poems are oftenly quoted. Okay, given the small quotation to speak also, they use this quotation from the poem. That is a famous one. Okay, he was honored with a prestigious Pulitzer Prize in the England. In the 4th time, he was a prestigious Pulitzer Prize he has given to him. And his poetry is a largely tradition of the village in terms of the matter and the exudes lyrical grace. Okay. This poem, the poem After Apple Picking, is published in the collection of the North Boston. This is the collection from the North Boston, from this poem. This is taken. Okay. From this they have taken this poem, which is Apple Picking is taken from the north of the Boston. Okay. Is well known poem on the man's encounter with the natural world. Encountering relation with the natural world, with the nature, how we relate to each other. Okay. Probing the dilemma of his existence. Dilemma. When you go to your out of your sense, is called as your dilemma. When the person, when he gets the heavy doses, he falls in the sickness of dilemma. He forgets, sometimes he forgets. And that is called the dilemma. Sometimes they act like him, sometimes act like a man. You don't know what is happening to us. You don't know what you are doing. You don't, not even you remember your relations. That is called a dilemma. That is what is coming from the dilemma of his existence. Here the poet gives his reflection on the boredom of a tragedy in the aftermath, the ask the picking apple. He forgets that somebody has asked him to pick up the apple. He lives in the alienation. one kind of a life he lives that he don't know what he is living. That is what the problem. The work weary apple picker is unable to enjoy his life amid the pristine beauty of the nature. He is so busy in picking the apple and he don't know how to enjoy the nature. In picking the apple, so he would enjoy his life, what we do, that we only enjoy. So that is not alienation for us. It is not a dilemma for us. It is not out of our brain. What we do for enjoying. Then we understand. So we enjoy this everything in our life. Sake of leaving the people that is called a dilemma. Something in the mood they are. They are here present but thinking of something what is not there in the hand. That is called the life of a dilemma. Okay. Trapped in the utilitarian ways of the modern civilization. Composed in the free verses, the poem is remarkable for his mood of intensity. For his intention, it is remarkable on his mood. Something has happened. Like this, exactly like, no? Can we forget about our birthday's time, date? No. Can we forget somebody died in the house? Can we forget the date of death? No. Something important happens in our life, you never forget. For example, I never forget my birthday, I never forget my wedding day, I cannot forget my child's birthday, my wife's birthday. So, these are all the practical things which we have. That is a mark in our life. Something has happened for that. No? With that, after the marriage, I have not become a bachelor, I become a married man. See? Say certain things, because why we remember our birthday? We know, I want to know every year how much old I am. How much age is going on to be now for the time. If I don't know the birthday, I don't know how old I am. No? That is what is very important, is the remarkable. Something is remarkable. It's very important. So, it is also an antithesis of the modern civilization. Thesis is a collection. Out of thesis, antithesis. Okay. Marked by the culture of ascetical works of the increasing material again to the no end. But there is a matter is never ending. Okay. Let me go to the summary. Let me read the lesson, the poem properly, so I can give you the summary. Listen carefully. My long two-pointed ladders sticking through the tree, two ladders afoot, sticking towards the tree, towards the heaven still, not even the tree, but reaching to the heaven. And there is a barrel container that I did not fill. Beside it, and there may be 2 or 3. Apple I did not pick upon some boughs, branches. But I am done with apple picking now. Essence of a winter, sleep is on the night. The scent of an apple, smell of an apple, I am drowsing off. I cannot rub the strangeness from my sight. I got from looking through the pane of glass, clear glass. I skimmed this morning from the drinking through and held against the world of hoary glass, blurred glass. It melted and I let it fall and break, but I was well. Upon my way to sleep before it fell, and I could tell what from my dreaming was about to take. Magnified apples appears and disappear, stem end and the blossom end, and every fleck of a russet showing clear. My instep arch not only keeps the ache, it keeps the pressure of the ladder ground. I feel the ladder sway as the bows bend, and I keep hearing from the cellar bin the rubbing sound of load on load of apples coming in, for I have had too much of apple picking. I am overtired. Of the great harvest I myself desire, There were 10,000 thousands fruits to touch. Cherish in hand, lift down, and not let fall. For all that struck the earth, no matter if not bruised or skipped with stubble, went surely to the cider apple heap as of no worth. One can see what will trouble. The sleep of mine, whatever sleep it is, where he got gone. The woodchuck could say whether it is like his long sleep as I described, it's coming on, or just some human sleep. Let me explain the summary. I left my tall two-edged ladder in the tree pointing towards the sky, and I also left an empty barrel next to it. There are probably a few apples left on some branches that I did not pick up. All over the tree, all the apples I picked it up, keeping the ladder, and that is marching towards the sky, okay, reaching towards the sky. But in that, he left it 2-3 apples, okay. There are probably a few apples left on some branch, and I did not pick. But I am not apple picking anymore. Now I stopped picking the apple. Okay. The night is begin. Night started. I feel like a winter. I feel that is a cold weather in the night. I can smell like an apple. The smell of apple is, if you enter into the apple tree garden, you see there is a nice smell, insect. I am falling asleep with that sense, with that smell. I cannot stop picturing the strange image I saw while looking through a piece of ice that I picked up out of the water through this morning and looked through towards the frosty glass. It started to melt and dropped it. I was already starting to fall asleep before it hit the ground, and I knew what kind of a dreams I was about to have. Close-ups of apples fading in and out, some showing the tops and others showing their opposite ends, so that it says no, from the bottom is the opposite end of the apple. Can see every speck of a brown and red coloring clearly. Okay, brownish and red, that color of the apple. It is very clear. The arch, the dome of my foot still aching. Okay, and in fact, still feel the pressure of the ladder ran. Because when you pick up the apple, you have to put the ladder when you are putting, because there is an arch in your feet, yes or no? And you put that ladder step on the arch, not on the full step. That is paining for me, he says. Okay. I can still feel the ladder moving slightly as the apple tree's branches bend. And even the apple tree bending, and the ladder is bending towards the wind, he says. I keep hearing the rubbing sound of the louds upon the loads of apple being rolled into the bin in the cellar. Okay, I am sick of the apple picking. I am tired of picking the apple. I am so tired. Even though I am the one who wanted this great harvest, even I want it, that it should be the greatest harvest, because I get a lot of income. But by picking, I am really tired. There were thousands upon thousands of apples. Okay, thousands, uncountable apples he finds in front of him. I could have greatly picked and made sure without a fall to the ground. Really, I had made it. Without one apple falling onto the ground, I could pick up and put that in the bin. Any apples that touches the ground, even those that weren't bruised or dirtied by the fall, because the small hurt for the apple, if you fall into the ground, that decays by itself. Okay, apple is so complicated, no? You cannot just throw. You see, keep it. Just buy an apple and smash one punch give, and you see the next day there is a black mark put on that apple. That is what he worried, so that he doesn't want the apple to fall on the ground. Okay, he says, not even one I have made like this. Even though that weren't bruised or dirtied by the fall, were considered worthless and only suitable for cider to sellers. You can see already why I am going to have a restless sleep. Now you understand why I am having this restless sleep, without the rest. To take a rest, sleep also I don't have a rest. If I even do sleep, if the wood crunch were he not already hibernating for the winter, to tell me whether the sleep I feel coming is like his hibernation, or if it is just regular old human sleep. That is the regular sleep which we have in the evening, which that is called hibernation. Okay, so this is how the summary of the lesson. Tomorrow we will see the glossary and the question answers. See you soon.